Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on another edition of The Pendulum, coming to you live on Lagos Television. The Pendulum is our current affairs program on this station. And when you look at the situation of the country today, the major issue on the front burner is the gubernatorial election of Osun State, which has been slated for August 15th, 2026 by the Independent National Electoral Commission. But the build-up to this particular election had been characterized with violence, killings here and there, irrespective of any political parties. And people are asking questions. Why are these set of politicians in Osun State very desperate, all in a bid to grab power for this gubernatorial election? These are some of the issues we'll be treating on the program today. And we have invited some parties who are major stakeholders in the politics of Osun State to be our guests on the program today. We'll go on a very short break to bring you some of the trending news in the polity. When we return, we'll be having that conversation around the issues pertaining to the governorship election of Osun State. You're still watching The Pendulum, our weekly current affairs program on Lagos television. Once again, the issue at stake today is the Osun Gubernatorial elections, and we want to look at some of those issues, which is characterizing some of the killings and, of course, violence that we have seen over the couple of days in Osun State as we approach the August 15 governorship election in the state. We have joining us via Zoom this afternoon, Mr. Ismail Omikpido is a journalist and a public affairs analyst. It's our pleasure to have you.
Good afternoon.
All right, we also have joining us on the program today, Dr. Tosin Odeyemi is the chairman, Inter-Party Advisory Council, Osun State. Dr. Odeyemi, it's a pleasure to have you. Okay, while we are still waiting for Dr. Odeyemi to join us, let me put my first question to Ismail Omikpido, who is a major stakeholder in the politics of Osun State, is a journalist, first of all, so to say. Looking at some of the violence and killings that we have seen lately in Osun State, what are your fears for the people of Osun State as we approach the Saturday's election?
Well, first and foremost, I stand to condemn the violence and attacks that were added the Saturday election. But I want to say that the Osun people that I know, they are very, very determined. They are very, very resilient. This is not the first time the state will be witnessing such violence before election. As a matter of fact, 4 years ago, we witnessed similar attacks. But probably the reason the Nigerian media didn't hear much noise about it was largely because the man at the end of the affair at the time, it's a very civil man who believes in the rule of law, who believes that no matter how hot you are, it is not a license to take laws into your hand. And he never showed any sign of desperation to retain his office at all costs. That probably was responsible for why we didn't hear this much noise 4 years ago. But in spite of those attacks, 4 years ago, some people came out en masse to exercise their franchise. And so I believe very strongly that with adequate security, Osun people will still troop out this Saturday to exercise their franchise. My initial fear was that the attacks may scare away voters. But with the presence of security that I have seen in the last 1 week, I want to believe very strongly that they will display the necessary capacity to contain any potential troublemaker. And I also want to place on record that those attacks and violence appear to have scaled down in recent time.
Okay, let me take the same question to Dr. Tosin Odeyemi, who is the chairman of Inter-Party Advisory Council in Osun State. Dr. Odeyemi, what do you make of all these killings and violence in Osun State as we look forward to Saturday's election?
Well, 3 weeks ago, the atmosphere has been so tense, and I must give kudos to the security agencies, the IG in particular, and Nigeria Police Force, who has deemed it fit to take charge. I can tell you, I've been saying this, that Osun is resolute. People will come out en masse to vote. The area, the environment is getting calm. And you can be rest assured, with what I've seen today, people will come out and cast their votes.
When you say that people will come out and cast their votes, I'm sure that people are not ready to trade their lives at the expense of killings or violence in Osun State. And it is obvious that there have been killings, there are violence here and there in Osun State. Don't you think that this will cause voter apathy on Saturday?
Well, there's one thing I got to know about this whole process. picture being painted outside there is not the real picture internally.
Oh, are there no killings in
Why?
Osun State?
There are killings. No, there are killings. It has never been as worse as this in Osun. There are
But
killings.
Dr. Deyemi,
I'm not
Mr.
disputing.
Omikbidon, Dr. Deyemi, 1 minute please. Mr. Omikbidon just told
Yes.
us now that the violence that we are witnessing now is not strange to the politics of Osun State. So it's a tradition in that state, so to say.
Yes, but we have not had this part. We have not had this part because at the moment I believe the power is with the electorate. So I don't see why anybody with desperate. The electorate will determine who governs them in the next 4 years. So why the killings? However, we are in Osun. We are citizens. We know what is happening. We know who is killing who on the seat of power. The incumbent to continue or, sir?
Go on please, Dr. Deyemi, go ahead.
Can I hear you, please?
Dr. Deyemi, you can go ahead with your point.
Right. So I feel when people come out to cast their votes concerning the killings, see, Osun indigenes, we are resolute. It will surprise you how people will come out and vote on Saturday. Then you ask yourself, but they said they are killing people, so how come? However, in Osun right now, there are security agencies and they have taken charge. You can be rest assured, and I'm assuring people that are watching from afar that Osun will be peaceful during this election.
All right, let me take my question back to Ismail Omikbidon. What have you identified as a stakeholder in Osun State? What are the issues that are generating some of these killings and violence?
Well, for me, from the reports I've read and from my interaction with some of the major stakeholders on both sides, it appears the inability of the incumbent governor to behave like a statesman is responsible for some of the attacks. And I'll tell you why. For instance,
Mr. Omikbidon, are you a member of any political party?
as of today, I am not.
Okay.
But
Because from what we have seen, from information that we have gathered, none of these parties, whether APC or Accord, are innocent.
Yes, but I'm driving at a point. You ask why. And I'm telling you the perceived non-statement-like posture of the governor from me is responsible, and I will give one or two instances. One, even the IGP frontally confronted the governor that he had it on a good authority that he was harboring criminals in the government house. Few days before the IG's visit, we saw videos. I also saw them, I also have them, of non-political thugs who have been identified with the PDP in the past, in charge of the gate of government house, allowing other political thugs enter into the government house. And this particular man was declared wanted 4 years ago. He was again declared wanted about 2 years ago. Two, there are reports which the governor have not come out to deny. The only thing is that the Commissioner of Justice and Attorney General of the state tried to rationalize it. The government has been releasing known criminals from detention. And the only reason any government will be doing that is perhaps to allow those criminals to assist them prosecute the election. So that is why, for me, I believe that the inability of the state government to act like a statesman is perhaps responsible.
Okay, I know that the governor of Osun State, I'm not a member of any political party, is not the one in charge of the Nigerian police. And there are different fora where the former commissioner of police was accused of being partial, even though the IGP visited Osun State. I'm now taking this same question to Dr. Odeyemi now. Is that the true situation of things in Osun State, Dr. Odeyemi? seem to be having problem with the network of Dr. Odeyemi. I'm sure he will connect with us back for us to really highlight some of the issues causing tension in Osun State. Okay, so now you have alleged, Mr. Omikpidon, that it appears that the government of the day is intolerable of other political parties in Osun State. Does that imply that the APC is innocent as well?
No, that is not the point I'm making.
Okay.
But you see, from day one, the governor had shown sign that he was not going to be a governor for all. And I will give another instance to buttress my argument. I even wrote about this about 4 years ago. The man who today is in charge of Amotekun, Omoyele was a serving police officer from Osun State, but he was serving in Osun State. Shortly after the governor won the election, Omoyele began harassing and intimidating persons to the extent that he killed 2 persons in Ebe. As the chief president of the former governor, I authored a press release calling for the probe and investigation into that incident. The reports I later got was that the police was not likely to do anything about it because Omoyele has been penciled down to be the CSO of the governor. And true to that speculation, by November 29, when the governor was sworn in spite of the petition against Omoyele of several human rights violations that he has committed in the state, the governor went ahead to announce him as his chief security officer. After then, the same man is today in charge of Amotekun. So how else do you explain that?
But
So
if that man is in charge of, if that man is in charge of Amotekun, who is in charge of the Nigerian police?
Well, yes, the government may not be in charge of Nigerian police. But the truth is that there must be some form of synergy between the government of the day and the police. If indeed you want your... I just told you that while you were in government, Omoyele was a serving police officer. And I told you the crime he committed, and we were told that the police were not likely to investigate it because he has been penciled down as the CSO of the governor. And the governor went ahead to appoint him. Today, the man is in charge of Amotekun. And other parties have been accusing Amotekun of harassing, attacking, and intimidating them.
Even if he was appointed to be in charge of Amotekun, that does not imply that it's above the law. The police is there, the DSS is there, the judiciary is there to try the man, yes or no?
Yes, but the point I'm making is that this man committed an offense. And apart from that, there were petitions against him of various human rights abuses. As a matter of fact, he was one of those that those who petitioned the NSAS panel in Osun complain about. The report of the NSAS panel is in the public domain. If the governor was sincere and wants a peaceful atmosphere, should he have gone ahead to appoint such a person as the chief security officer?
So is the governor the only one behind these killings and violence in Osun State?
No, he is not.
So let's talk about the other players as well. Let's talk about the other players, APC, PDP. From your investigation as a journalist, what were your findings?
One of my findings is that some of those who joined the APC today from the other party, you know, I told you when we were in government, there were attacks, but we never retaliated. But some of those who were in PDP who have now joined APC, in some of their areas, when they attack them, they don't allow it to lie low. So it's like what I consider a balance of force. And you know, because they were together before, they know each other better.
Okay, I'm sure you are aware of what happened in Elisha recently.
Yeah, that was like about 2 days ago.
Okay, so what were your findings from that particular incident?
Well, I must confess that I have not been to Ilesha since after the incident, but the reports of the police and the video I saw on social media and some of the commentaries I saw, they said the APC were going on a rally and that they were attacked by a court person, and they mentioned some of their names, and the names they mentioned are known names, and in the process, before the police came, Amotekun personnel allegedly appeared on the scene to unleash terror on them. In the process, they say 2 persons were hit by the gunshots. But as at this morning, when I listened to the police people, I will say those 2 persons have since been discharged. He also confirmed that they arrested an Amotekun personnel and that they also saw some, they saw him with some arms, but that they are analyzing the bullets, the shell that they picked from the scene of the incident to see whether it correlates with the rifle that was seen with the Amotekun personnel. So maybe we should wait for the police to conclude their investigation, then we know where to go from there.
Okay, Dr. Dayemi, are you back? Okay, Dr. Dayemi is not back, so we're still saying with the account of Ismail Omikpidon. Okay, let's assess all these candidates jostling to become the governor of Osun State on Saturday, one after the other, their strengths and their weaknesses. What would you classify as some of their strengths and their weaknesses, looking at them local government by local government and on the basis of their political platforms?
Well, if we start with the incumbent power or incumbent factor is in his favor. But historically speaking, incumbents have been defeated in Osun, including my former principal that was defeated 4 years ago. 2, as a person, he's a jolly good fellow. But I dare say he appears unprepared for the leadership position that was entrusted, that God trusted on him. How do I mean? From his profile and from the background and from what I know, until 2017 when he was elected as senator, he had never worked anywhere before in his entire life. And so in terms of experience, in terms of managerial acumen, for me, those are some minuses, and all these things came to play in the course of managing the state in the last 4 years. Some will argue that he has built some roads, he has embarked on flyovers, and just this morning while I was listening to the Arise Town Hall meeting before I joined this show, a person was put to him that while commending him for building flyover in Ife, but that the inner roads and the roads leading to Ife are in bad shape. And the only defense the governor could put forward was that those roads are federal government roads, forgetting that it's Osun citizens that apply some of those roads. Now, let's come to Najib Salam. Najib Salam was a former speaker in the state. He spent 8 years as a speaker. And before then, he had been in the House of Assembly. He spent, I think, about 2 years before court sacked him. And eventually, apart from being in politics, I am not sure that he has worked anywhere before. But after speaker, he was appointed one of the executive directors of NICOMSAT, where he served for 80 years. 4 years. In terms of experience, he's an experienced politician. And as a speaker, he led the House of Assembly well. But his greatest undoing is that his party appears not to possess the financial waters to prosecute the election.
Well, how do you mean? A party with the likes of David Mark, Rauf Aregbesola, Bolaji Abdullahi, Dino Melaye, and a couple of others, does not have the financial chest to prosecute this election?
Yeah, I say so based on what has been happening in the last 2 months. The candidate has not been able to campaign vigorously the way other candidates have been campaigning. And by the time I found out, the only reason was paucity of funds. Now, apart from that, don't forget that you will need to pay party agents. You will need to settle some other logistics. So for me, financial measure will be one of their greatest obstacles. Two,
Where is Najib from?
apart from it's from Ejigbo.
Ejigbo, okay.
Two,
Adeleke is from Ede.
Two, apart from Ede, yes.
Okay.
Two, apart from Ejigbo, where it comes from, I am not sure you were able to garner majority of votes in any other local government outside Ejigbo. Then, if we look at the APC candidate, he spent about 27 years or thereabout in the banking sector before his foray into public service. He was first appointed the managing director of Osun State Investment Company, Osun, now known as Omoluabi Companies.
Under which governor?
It is a record, sir?
Under which governor?
Under Ogbeni.
Okay.
During his first term. And it is a record that he raised the share capital base of that company from negative to, I can't remember the exact figure now, but he made the place very, very heady to the extent that his then principal had to appoint him as a commissioner for finance. He was appointed commissioner for finance in 2017, and he served in that position, after which he was first appointed special advisor to the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy. From there, he was later appointed the managing director of National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA.
Okay.
And so if we talk of track record of experience, for me, I think he pays above the other two candidates in terms of leadership experience, in terms of exposure to public service. Now, his greatest weakness will be the seemingly not too good relationship between his immediate boss and his first boss, that is Ralph Aregbesola, because I want to believe very strongly that if Ralph Aregbesola were to still be in APC, the candidate would have been perhaps the only candidate going into this election with 4 living ex-governors behind him.
Okay, so let's talk about the dynamics of the PDP now. You spoke so well of Ambo, who is the candidate of the APC. You both served under Oyetola. He served as a commissioner,
Yes.
and you served as the chief press secretary to Governor Oyetola. Even though you have told me that you are not a member of the APC, you're simply a journalist. So let's look at the dynamics of the PDP now. I saw the former governor of the state, Oyinlola Olagunsoye, supporting with members of the PDP, saying that they are going to support the candidate of the APC for this election. Will that swing the pendulum of victory in the way of APC, looking at the number of figures of members of PDP in Osun State?
You know, election is about numbers. And if election is about numbers, it therefore means that such heavyweights will not be moving alone. They will be moving along with their supporters.
Who are the heavyweights, apart from Oyinlola? Who are the other heavyweights in PDP?
There's Fatai There's Fatai Akindade, a former SSG, a former governorship candidate. There is Olade Pupo, a former national vice chairman of the party, who is also from Oshogbo. There is Prince Dotun Babayemi, who contested the governorship ticket with the current governor under PDP platform. Is also now in APC. There is Senator Fada Osi, who currently represents Osun East Senatorial District. Is now in APC. There is Honorable Wole from Ijesha Federal Constituency. Is now in APC. There is Honorable Umeri, also from Ijesha Axis, who was in PDP, previously is also in APC. There is Senator Akelabi. He was a former senator representing Osun West. He was a former minister. He is also supporting the APC's candidate. And there is also Abimbola Ajilesoro from Ife Federal Constituency. His case is unique. Unique in the sense that 4 years ago, he defeated the APC candidate for the position of Ife Federal Constituency with barely 1,000 votes. Now today, that APC candidate is a running mate to the APC governorship candidate, Engineer Adereti Benjamin. And with Abimbola back to the APC, what it means that the combination of the two of them in that axis, considering that the two of them polled over 100,000 votes put together, they separately 4 years ago, but they are going to put them together. So certainly, all those will count in favor of the APC candidate. And as we speak today, there is no known senior, experienced, high-profile politician that is supporting the incumbent.
Okay, let's talk about the influence and the supporters base of one of your former governors, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola. Is that not going to count at all in this particular election?
Well, if about 50% of his loyalists who moved back to APC in January had not moved, I would have told you that certainly that would have affected the chances of the APC. But because those who moved were the real foot soldiers of Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, they were the ones that usually penetrate the grassroots before election, canvassing for votes. These people moved back to APC in January this year. And so to that extent, that was why I told you categorically that apart from Ejibo, and I'm sure the result on Saturday will vindicate me, apart from Ejibo.
What about Elisha? Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola is from Elisha.
As a sitting governor in Elisha, he lost 2 local governments in that area. As a sitting governor, he lost 2 local governments in that area in 2018. You know, and in 2022, in spite of the fact that he was not supporting the APC won Ijesha, even though with little margins. And so for me, I do not think his presence in ADC will sway victory in that axis in his favor, because the major political actors from that area who ensure that the strength of APC was reduced in that area 4 years ago have all moved to APC as we speak.
Okay, we cannot forget to talk about the influence of the Adeleke family in Ede as well. What do you think will play out on Saturday in Ede?
I must say with all sorts of modesty that Ede is given for the Adelekes, the 2 Ede local governments, Ede North, Ede South. However, have they been beaten before? I say yes, they have been beaten before. Late Senator Adeleke was beaten as a senator, was defeated as a senator. And for me, even though most people don't agree with me, but it's my own opinion and it's based on what I know and what I saw. If they had not voted till 11 p.m. 4 years ago in Ede, there was no way INEC would have announced them as the winner of the election at the end of the day.
Okay, so
because they defeated APC with about a 30,000 margin in Ede, And overall, the margin of win was 27,000 votes, about 4%. And that happened because they voted till 11 p.m. in a day.
So what will play out? Let's go to Ife now. What's going to play out in Ife, where that particular flyover is sited?
Well, I can tell you that even though the flyover beautifies the scene, but everybody agrees that it's a misplacement of priority, because there are roads that we have linked our rural areas with our town, where the agrarian communities will have access to road. And so, but rather than do that, it's flower. And this point I'm making came out prominently this morning. One of those who were asking questions put, the governor, the governor to tax on that. Now, I'm also aware that most of those roads are substandard. I have written about it because the one leading to my school, I'm doing my PhD in Redeemers University. The road from Akoda leading to Ede that takes you to my own university. You need to,
You are simply saying that the people of Ife are not going to vote for Mr. Governor.
Not that they will vote for him because his running mate is also from there. But with the realignment that had happened in recent times, I think that the governor will not coast to victory for the way they did 4 years ago.
So my final question to you this afternoon is that what are those volatile areas that you have identified in Osun State, and how do you think the security agencies should take care of these places on Saturday?
Well, Elisha, parts of Osogbo, then Ede too will be volatile, and I'll tell you why.
Quickly.
The members of the APC in that area appear determined to ensure that what happened 4 years ago does not repeat itself in Ede. To the extent that only genuine voters will come out to vote, and INEC guidelines will be followed to the letter. Now, I see attempts by the dominant party in the area to want to resist that, and so that may lead to some form of confrontation. So, but with the deployment I saw so far, and with the information I gathered that about 36 police commissioners will be on ground, I have seen the military deployment. I believe very strongly that the security operatives will be able to man the state very well to ensure that we have a peaceful atmosphere.
I must thank you very much, Ismail Omikbidon, journalist and public affairs analyst, all the way from Osun State, Ilaro, to be precise, for finding time to join us on the program this afternoon. Unfortunately, the network did not allow Dr. Tosin Odeyemi, the chairman, Inter-Party Advisory Council of Osun State, to continue in his line of thought on the program. We thank you very much once again, Mr. Ismail Omikbidon. You're still watching the Pendulum on Lagos television. The issues at stake on the program today is the governorship election of Osun State. We'll take another quick break at this moment to hear from some of those stakeholders in Osun State.
We got a report on insightful statements from the distinguished senator, and he was invited here, which you are aware, and we went through some questioning with him for several hours. Investigation is ongoing to the allegations of insightful comment, and we will update members of the public as we proceed.
I've met and I've told them what I said, not the one manipulated by these mischievous interpreters of Yoruba language misinterpreted from somebody's blood. So we wait until after this to see what we can do legally to such a person.
That's the pendulum today. We hope that common sense will prevail at the end of the day in Osun State, so that the election will be free, fair, and transparent, so that the people of Osun State can actually live in peace and harmony after this election. That's the show this week. We thank you for watching. We'll be back next Thursday for another interesting edition on the Pendulum. I am Ajibola Ojoshola. Thanks for watching the show.